Welcome back to the Brando Show, or a version of the Brando Show. Um, Tonight we have a special guest. I guess it's less of a guest and more of a crossover of
You're my
sorts.
special guest.
All right, well there he is, Andy Mayo.
Brando, you're like dead serious.
What do you mean?
You're very, very, very serious. I'm
Yeah.
surprised in the pre-show. Very serious. But yeah, you're my special guest.
All right. Today I'm Andy Mayo's special guest on
And I'm your
Nicholsworth
special we're each other's special guests, Brando.
on Nicholsworth of Free Advice. So
No, Nichols worth of Brando show.
all right. So, all right, let's take it back from the top.
Right.
Welcome back to the Brando Show. And my special guest today is one Andy Mayo. Andy.
You fucked it, but you still it's all right. We'll move on.
All right.
We'll move on. You did the same exact thing the second time as the first time. Why
Right.
did you do it again?
I just thought I would redo it and kind of give it a little more flair, but I'm not sure if that came across too well. So what? Anyway,
There's not a noticeable increase in flair.
fair enough. What's going on tonight?
So I wanted to do this episode. Well, I don't really know, Brando. I don't really have a plan for it. I've got some things I want to talk to you about. It came about because you had asked me if I could do your show. And so I told you I got young kids. I need like 3 weeks notice. But then we got it down to 2. We worked, we haggled, we horse traded. We got it down to 2. But then you said you weren't sure about what was the status of your show. So I said, well, I've been kind of itching to do a Nicholsworth because there were some things I wanted to talk about, but I didn't really want to do a solo show. So I said, let's combine them.
Yeah. Also, remember when you said that you wanted to be on, and then I asked you a few days later, and you're like, I decided I don't want to be on because I don't want to grade people.
Yes, I don't like the grading format because it gets you in trouble.
I suppose it does, but I think tonight's a good night to try to switch it up for me because I feel like I've become a little bit rigid with my show. I've lost some of the fun of it, and I've gotten very into the minutia of, oh, this person gets this grade. Let's go over every single segment. So I thought this is a good idea to mix it up and see what can happen when, we do a little more of a freewheeling type of thing.
So you said you lost the fun of it, so I presume you want to have more fun.
Yeah.
You don't seem like you're having fun working with me so far, Brando, and that's just an observation, said with no judgment behind it.
Oh, okay.
I see Kane in the chat. Here's Kane's perspective on the dynamic so far. I disagree with it. I don't share this perspective. Kane feels that Brando is just figuring out that Mayo is actually a dick. How do you feel about that, Brando? Do you share that?
I've known this for quite some time at this point. It's not really a surprise to me, but I love Mayo. It's a love-hate relationship just with anyone, I think, with Mayo, that you gotta love the guy. He's a great guy, but he also can drive you nuts sometimes. But that's part of the ride with Mayo.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm actually a dick. What's that thing?
No, I don't know about a dick.
I know you're a therapy guy. What's the thing where you, like, what you accuse of other people of is actually
projection?
A reflection. Yes. That's for no reason at all. I'm going to ask about projection right now.
Okay, totally unrelated. Totally unrelated on that.
Brando in the pre-show, everybody. Brando asked me to avoid the chat, and I got to tell you, this is the first time I think I've done a live one where I don't know if I could see the chat before, but anyway, I feel like Dale E. Arnold because I am fucking attached to this chat line right now. Like, you're all in here. And
right.
Just know anything you say, I'm going to see, and it will have some effect on me.
I like the, no, I just didn't want you to get too distracted with kind of battling with people and stuff like that. Because it can be tempting to sit there and go back and forth, but I just wanted you to know that you don't have to necessarily go back and forth with everybody. But I do like the old school Kirk Minahan shirt. When did you get that one?
It's an original from
I don't know, 2019, 2020.
Yeah, and I do kind of wish I wish they kept that bit going. Mike drawing people, because imagine when they just redesigned the studio. It could have been a whole gallery of Blind Mike's portraits.
That's true.
Jesus,
What?
Brando. Are you at a bank right now?
No, I'm at
No.
my I'm at my home currently, but I don't know if it looks like a bank or
No,
what. But
it's your you just seem a little lethargic.
well, this is just how I kind of get before my show. Is I don't know. I kind of lock in, I guess they would say, but I don't know where we're gonna go with this. Is the problem? I'm wondering what is your what are you bringing from the Nicholsworth to the Brando show?
Nothing. I haven't thought. I've got stuff to talk about.
Right. Give me something. Give me something.
One thing, would you like to know what I would have done with Mick and Justin?
Sure.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Who is this?
What is this?
I'm bringing Jackson in.
Okay.
No, I guess not.
Why are you bringing me into this?
Because me and Brando are having bad chemistry. So I feel like we need a third.
We need Jackson. He's a big chemistry
We
guy.
need someone to help us spice it up.
You hired me for a job that I don't know what I'm doing or how to do, and you're doing it yourself anyway.
Mm.
Oh, the chat job?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go, Jackson?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you for that terrific insight per the
Brando,
usual.
the thing is, you said you'd like to hear about it, but I don't feel like you do. It's
Well, I wanted to know what you were breaking down about the Brando show because it was going to be a nickel's worth of free advice.
No,
Did you have
I was
advice
never
for
gonna
me?
I have no advice for you. I really don't. I really don't. I just really don't.
All right.
You think you need advice from me, Brando? You don't need advice from me. You're better at being a Minifan than I am. Like you don't need advice from me.
Well, I guess I appreciate that. I'll take it as a compliment. But I guess we'll just start talking about the show. Let's see here. So, what did you think about today's show? Were you able to finish it with Steve You're Live to Tape and Mutt?
No, I don't know how much I have left. Steve, I like Steve You're Live to Tape. I want to hate him. I want to shit on him, but he's okay. He's an okay guy. He is a bit of a bore though, as many third chairs are. But I think that works. Like, remember a few months ago, Kirk specifically said, and he named Steve You're Live to Tape specifically. He said that I know there's some guys, if you tell me they're coming in tomorrow, I at least have the comfort of mind of knowing it's not going to be a total tractor pull. You know, there's going to be some smoothness to it that these guys can just sit in and kind of go. And I don't think it's going to be like knock your socks off, but it's going to be fine. It'll be better than Kane, put it that way.
I have to disagree with that because I think Kane is great on the show. Love him or hate him, I think he's good content no matter what. And he asks the weirdest questions to Kirk that kind of bring out a different side of Kirk. But as far as Steve You're Live to Tape, I think that's kind of right. He's like a plug-and-play guy, like maybe a him, a Play It Again sports guy, maybe even a Ted is like, he's going to come in, he's going to bring some stuff, he's going to laugh. He's going to be a part of the team, and it's going to go okay. It's never going to be anything too spectacular, but it won't be a Bish or some of these guys who you just forget entirely as soon as they leave.
Brando, we're drowning here.
What are you talking about? Just
Are
do
you
the
feeling
show.
it? No, I can't just do a show, man. I can't just do a show. I don't want to talk about Steve You're Live. I don't know. I liked when we had Jack, like on the Unrelated show. It's like a freewheeling vibe. We don't have that vibe right now.
No, we don't.
I feel like I'm at work. I feel like we're following it. I feel like it's okay. You could say yes to this, Brando. I won't be hurt. I feel like you would rather Freddie Lynn was in the other square on the screen next to you. You're doing a little bit of a Freddie Lynn.
Well, me and Freddie, I think, are very similar in kind of our dry senses of humor and how serious we can get about the show. So I have asked Freddie to be on the show before, and he hasn't been able to. But I'll always be a big Freddie Lynn guy. But I'm also a Mayo guy. I just want to know. I've never come into a show without having it very structured and very having all my points ready to go, numbers, grades. I'm just trying something new here with you tonight, so we'll get into it.
It's a contrast in styles, Brando, because you just described your preferred style, which just happens to be the almost exact opposite of mine. Like
Right.
I like to go into things with a very loose idea of what's going to get talked about and maybe the order they're going to get talked about in, but then just let it unfold and let it go.
Right. Well, as everyone knows
Which is
from
why I don't want to do, like when you said about grading, it's not that I don't like listening to it, but I don't want to participate in it because that's just not the way my brain works. I can't do shows like that.
It's very interesting because you are a self-proclaimed teacher and kind of a guy who does like a grading type thing, I guess, with the you know, team building and things like that. So I am surprised that you wouldn't want to be grading people. But
I
you
don't
said
really
you
grade. Like my job, there's assessments. Like someone might take an assessment, or an assessment might be given to employees in a company. But it's not grading individually. It's not like I go and watch them work and say, you get an A for today and you get a C plus. It's not like that.
yeah. So, what did you think about Mutt today on the show?
He was fine. He was fine. I like Mutt. Did they say I must have missed it? Oh, hello, Jackson. I must have missed it. Why
I don't
was it
think
Mutt
he
instead
wants
of
to
Mike?
be in on the show. I don't think he
what
wants to be
what
in.
is this? What is this fucking? What is this? Is this
Jackson,
a show about how your show failed? What is this?
About how my show failed?
No. This.
What is this show supposed to be?
Yeah, like you've come together and been like, well, I guess this isn't working.
Oh, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. No offense to Brando. It's just like we just said, it's just a mix of styles.
Right.
I think Brando's very uncomfortable not having a clear outline to follow.
Yes.
Like every time there's a pause, his eyes go down to his page.
What was
I'm not criticizing you, Brando. I'm just saying.
What was the organization here? Because you guys are on two different pages. What's the communication?
There was no organization. There was. I thought he was gonna bring like an episode of his show. I was gonna bring an episode of mine, and we were gonna somehow mix those two things.
But then Jackson, you ever start a show? And again, I'm not trying to be like Brando knows me in real life. I'm not trying to be an asshole to Brando. It probably is entirely my fault. You ever get going on a show and you're like, this is. There's something missing here.
I don't like that you've come on Brando's show and you're just dumping on it. You're dumping on the entire format. Listen, is the format great? No. But you've come on here, you've accepted the offer, and you've come on here and you're just shitting on this show. You're like, fuck, you know what, Brando? I actually don't like your whole format.
Jackson, it's not necessarily Brando's show. Like I told Brando, I wanted to do more, like get away from that format.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not entirely fair, Jackson. This was supposed to, like we called it Nickel's Worth of Brando show to indicate it's not quite the Brando show. Point well taken, though. I hope Brando doesn't feel like I just came on here and shit on him and fucking took the air out of the balloon.
Well,
yeah, you feel that way, Brando?
No, not that you shit on me, but it just feels like you've made everything come to a screeching halt. Like I'm trying to talk about the show, and you're like, "Well, this is kind of boring. Let me check the chat." But it's neither here nor there. I mean, I like you, and I like doing shows. So I just think we need to figure out what this is gonna be. We need to figure out how much of it is gonna be Nichols, how much of it is gonna be Brando, where we're gonna meet in the middle. What do you got? What do you got for ideas and takes? And give me something. Give me something to work off of here.
Well, one of the things we were gonna do on the Unrelated show and we didn't get to was going over some of the activities we would have done with Mick and Justin in the conflict resolution program.
Right. Go ahead. That's only 3 or 4 months old at this point, so it should be nice and fresh.
Well, Brando, if you've ever watched your own show, that's what you do. You review shows from a month ago.
No, like that's 8 days ago, but
okay, then Brando, we don't have to do this, buddy. Like that's what I would like to talk about. I can tell Brando you're not interested. I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time either, dude. Like if there's if Bio Dude was here. Bio Dude would be really into that. So maybe I should just do that with Bio Dude. Like, I don't want to do Minifan shows with people that don't want to engage with me that I'm not, it's not going to be good.
No, I want to.
If it's not good, hand up. Yeah, maybe I can't do a show with just anybody.
No, I definitely want to, and that's why I brought you on. I thought we would.
So, man. I don't think so, Brando. I'm going just off your energy alone. You do not seem like you really want to have a conversation with me about that project and what could have been.
let's give it a shot. Let's give me a little bit
no,
of give me a little bit of what it would have been like. Well, let's try it. I'm willing to try. All right, I'm willing to give it a shot. What do you got?
Nope. I'm
Mick
not
and
doing
Justin.
it, Brando.
Mick and Justin. All right. What other stuff you got as far as Nichols worth of free advice? Like, what have you been thinking of doing episodes on? I think you talked about different stuff they could improve with on the live shows. You've had some different stuff you've been kicking around. What have you been thinking of covering lately for Nichols worth of free advice?
That proposal. But Brando,
that's the only thing.
Brando, I'm good. It's my fault. But I'm pulling the plug.
Pulling the plug on what?
The show.
I'm not going to come on here and do 15 minutes and just go away.
Keep going then.
Okay, I guess, I don't know. Jackson, do you want to stay on?
Yeah, I apologize.
Jackson, do you want to stay on?
I wish it had gone better, but if I kind of do feel like it's my fault. I feel off. Feel like it's not going to be a good show.
Jackson, are you there?
I can't, mate. I'm working.
All right. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't know what to do. Do you want to talk about anything about the show, or you just want to call it a show? I'd like to try to do some sort of thing.
All right. Yeah, sorry, Brando. Sorry. I really have fucked the dog on this one.
Okay.
Do you want to see if we can go for the longest
just
dead
pause.
air? Yeah.
Just pause the longest pause possible.
All right, Brando. I'm sorry, man. Nicholsworth stuff I would ask you about. You're a Minifan who dreamed of going on the show.
Right.
And then you finally got to.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've been going through the rigors of Minifan stardom.
Mm.
What's the status right now? Are you feeling good? Before, a couple weeks ago, you were talking about leaving.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I think I'm in a good place now. I had a tough few days, especially with I had the Clemmer reaction show, the Clemmer stream reaction show, and I'm starting to get a little bit of flashbacks on that of just like feeling like I'm floundering, the tech issues. It's all feeling very familiar. But no, I feel great. I feel great. I can't wait to be on the show in a couple weeks, and I think the show's picking up steam. I thought today was a pretty good show. I always love it when they're making fun of Mutt. They're fucking with him about the horse racing stuff. That always makes me laugh out loud. And the game, you know what? Steve, you're live to tape. The game was very funny. It's always great when it's shit on Mutt Fest.
I had a question about the game. It was what was the last question? There was something where I'm not sure. It was saying on the track deaths, and the number's gone down. And what I wanted to know is if they're juking those stats. So maybe does on the track death mean they literally killed the horse on the track? And if so, are they dragging horses 30 feet off track so that technically it doesn't count as that? I think it's worth looking into. Mutt was very big on, they're getting the numbers down. They're getting the numbers down. I bet those numbers aren't as clean as Mutt would like us to believe.
Right. I don't know exactly. I don't know if the horse has like a heart attack or something, or breaks its leg and literally dies on the physical track. But it's definitely a big part of horse racing, and Mutt definitely does not like when people talk about the horse deaths. So
and
I'm not sure.
Were those national statistics or statewide? Because the one about passengers dying in motor vehicle accidents, that was only like 500. What the fuck is that? There's no way that's an annual.
Pedestrians.
What does that mean? Oh, like pedestrians.
Someone walking.
Car?
Yeah. Yep.
Across the whole country in 1 year, it's only like 500 people.
Yeah.
Really? That's I don't know. Does that surprise you, Brando?
I guess a little bit. You would think it would be a little bit higher. But I bet people get hit a good amount, but the question is, do they die or do they not die? Like, is Bio Dude like out there on his little scooter and he just gets clipped. And how often does that happen? I guess you'd have to ask him.
This raises a question too I had for you. I was about to say maybe we can get Steve Your Live to Tape to weigh in on Twitter and clarify where he got those statistics, but he's not even on Twitter. And one of my questions for you tonight was, should third chairs be kind of required to be on Twitter? Like, if you're not on Twitter, should you be a third chair? Because it's never been defined clearly, but my understanding of third chairs, you got to be in the mix, you got to be contributing to the world just because it makes you a better guest on the show. So I was kind of surprised that this guy's gone. And I mean, maybe like he said, he's going to dive back in, but what do you think? If you're a third chair, should you be on Twitter? And should you be on the network is another question.
I think all those things certainly help. I don't know if I would say they're a requirement, but it's the same argument as like, oh, should someone have to be a Minifan to be on the Minifan network? Like, Kirk's asked about different people like Bree, like, other people that have been on the network that aren't really Minifans. Like, should they be on or should they not be on? So, should someone be involved in the Twitter part of the show and know all the going ons and stuff on Twitter? I would say it's definitely helpful, but I don't know if it's technically necessary, especially because there's a large portion of the audio audience that has no idea what's going on Twitter.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying those things are good for the show, right? Is that, if I understood you correctly?
Yes.
It's better for the show if a third chair is active on Twitter. So why wouldn't you require it?
Because
why not? You said, I don't know if we have to require it. Why not? If it makes the show better.
Well, that's something you'd have to ask Kirk.
But I'm asking you, your opinion, if you were the producer. Another question I had for you tonight, Brando. I'm sorry. I'll answer that one first. Sorry.
No, I'm just thinking. Go ahead. Another question.
Do you, and you may have answered this before, so I apologize if you have. Would you produce KMS? Like, if Kirk said tomorrow, Brando, I like the cut of your jib. I like your hat that looks like the kid from the Sandlot wore before he got a normal baseball hat, and I like your mustache, Brando. Would you be my new producer? Would you do it?
Of course. I would do anything that Kirk asks of me. There's no question about it.
All right. What if tomorrow Kirk said, we're doing another producer search. Anyone who wants a shot gets it. Would you sign up for that?
I don't know. I mean, it's not going to help my cause if I just go in and don't know how to do anything as far as a producer goes, but I would try my best. I don't know if I would sign up for that. I mean, my focus right now is shooting hoops and trying to get ready for these tryouts coming up. That's my main focus and going back in the studio. But
can I tell you why I asked that, Brando?
Go ahead.
All right. First, let me say, I apologize, Brando. I really went into this thinking, like, purposely trying to be loose, like, let's not plan it out. And then I was like fucking with you and busting your balls, but you like weren't down for that. And then it threw me off. So I was being an asshole to you, and I apologize for that. But what I was thinking before, like I said in the pre-show, I was like, oh, Brando's taking this really seriously. And I know you're like a competitive guy, you're a driven guy, and honest to God, when you were like that in the pre-show, and I was like, this is a guy that he can't help it. He cares about it. He's gonna take it seriously. And I was like, yeah, that would be like, he could be a good producer because you could learn all the technical stuff, but it's that drive that you won't let yourself fuck up. That I think sometimes Kirk could use a little bit more of. Would you? And I love Cully, but if Brando had been producing, would the screen have been bigger? And where was that, Plymouth?
You know what? Who's to say? Who's to say? I think it would have been, but I can't. I can't say for sure. I'm a Cullinan guy, but yeah, I would do anything for the show. So if that means trying to learn how to be a producer, then I would learn how to be a producer. If it means coming in as a third chair or being asked to be involved in special projects or like the basketball team or anything, I'm gonna do my best to try to find a way to do it. I'm driven, and the show means everything to me. So,
do you get upset? Like, so a lot of us get upset when you see people who get an opportunity with the show that you yourself wish you could get, and if you see them in your eyes flounder it, does that bother you? Because I feel like that is a core driver of like that's Menners, and that's me. There's a lot of Minifans, pretty much, and I think anyone who appears on the network, my inkling is they probably have this, where you kind of see someone getting a chance to do something you wish you could do, and it fucking eats you alive
Right.
when you see them fuck it up in a way that you like to think you wouldn't do, but you probably would if you were in their shoes. Are you wired that way? Does it bother you? Like, you get mad seeing Mick throw opportunities away, or Mutt? And I mean literally mad. Like, does it bother you?
I think I was frustrated with Mick just to be what I thought was ungrateful to be a part of the show, and to be kind of think he is owed more than I think he is from Kirk. Yeah, I'd say it frustrates me. I wouldn't say I would get like visibly mad, but sure, like in Mick's case, he's been asked to do all these different things. He's given chance after chance to be a producer, and he's kind of fumbled the ball on that one. But he's a talented guy, and we'll see if he ends up doing something else, or if he does inevitably end up coming back to the show in some capacity.
Gun to your head, Mick on KMS ever again? Actually, now that I ask it out loud, it's a very
definitely
question. Of course,
definitely.
Yes, yeah.
He's only come back 6 or 8 to 10 times at this point. Mick is great content. He's one of my favorites of all time that's been involved with the show. Over the break, I listened to the one where it was him and his brother, and Kirk like had them kind of arguing it out and trying to figure out where the animosity came from and what the background, the family dynamic was, and that was a terrific episode.
I agree.
Are you a Mick guy overall?
Yes, personally. Andy Morrison's a Mick guy. Andy Mayo is an asshole, obviously.
Oh, okay.
No, Mick's one of those people where, I put it this way, like, I root for him, but objectively, I don't know if I would bet on him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And that's just because, and I think, the way Kirk said, Mick, go a year without quitting something. Like, Kirk's, I think, really pointing at something for Mick that just, for him as a person, he's got stuff to work on that I think would, if he could develop some interpersonal skills, he could take better advantage of these opportunities that he gets. So it's like, I want anyone, like, man, how old are you, Brando? I think of you as like 28. How old are you?
33.
33. Okay. So I kind of think of you as part of, like, there's like younger Minifans, like John from Scranton, who's probably like 45 now. I forget how long everyone's been around, but like Mick, John from Scranton, kind of you, like anyone younger who could reasonably like take a shot if Kirk gave it to him. Like, if Kirk, it would never happen, but if he said, Mayo, you want a job at the show, it's like, yes, but I can't. I just can't. I could, I couldn't. But you guys could. Like, Mick could. So I root for those guys because I like seeing people get what they really want and go for.
Right.
But it doesn't mean if you said, well, put all your money on the line, Mayo, would I bet it on him right now? I don't think so.
Well, it comes back
I like him a lot.
Another example is Mutt, and Mutt with the Barstool stuff, just how bad he fumbled with that. It's very frustrating, as Kirk says, to watch someone who's been kind of given this opportunity on a platter, and for whatever reason, he just doesn't want to take it. Mutt could be at Barstool right now doing all this horse racing stuff, flying on a private jet with Dave Portnoy, and he's still unemployed and doing the Mutt stack, So he's a guy that gets that does make me somewhat frustrated.
Yeah, I got frustrated with Mutt today when he said, I think he tried to walk it back, but I'm pretty sure his initial statement was along the lines of like, he still listens to EEI every day.
Yep, that was
right?
crazy.
And perhaps a lot of EEI every day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a fucking therapist. I don't know, but that sounded to me. I was like, does that offer some insight into why Mutt seems so stuck? Like, I don't know. How is he lit? Like, and to me too, it's very different. If he's listening to a lot of terrible EEI shows, that's different than if he says, no, I listen to the Sports Hub. Does that make sense? Like, to me, it's it's more worrisome if he's listening to EEI, because that tells me he's stuck in the like that should be me mode.
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly why he's doing it. He's like still like living vicariously through these losers at EEI and wishes he never got fired in the first place so he could be doing Mud at Night still, or I think he's stuck in like an old school mentality of radio and being on these shows, and I don't know. I do feel for the guy because he's just had all these opportunities and he's failed to come through on them. I cannot believe that he listens to WEI every day. I've tried since Kirk left to listen to some here and there, and it's just so dreadfully boring. I don't know how. I used to listen to sports radio all day, every day. I would listen to Kirk, but I would always also listen to like the afternoon or evening show. I'd listen to Mud at Night, and now I cannot imagine listening to sports talk radio for any given period of time.
No, maybe if
it's too boring.
If the Patriots get good again, I could throw it on in the car. I would enjoy listening to like football talk if they're good and competing. But otherwise, yeah. And when Kirk left, Kirk at EEI made me realize, oh, I thought I liked sports talk radio. I actually liked Kirk Minahan, because I'm like you. When they took him out of the picture at EEI, I was like, oh, I don't really like any of this. And I mean, EEI, of course, went as far in the opposite direction of Kirk as well. So of course, even the guys they still had who have some personality and maybe could be like a, more a Kirk light, like triple X light version of Kirk on EEI, they weren't allowed to be. So they were as bland as possible.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, only because I did like sports talk in general. Like, I would listen to, like, Dale and Hawley and other shit like that during the day, like freaking Mutton Merloney or Glenn Ordway. I used to enjoy some Glenn Ordway stuff. But I was very into sports talk. I think for me, it's anything I get into, I get fully addicted to. As an addict, it's either, alcohol, drugs, the gym, the Kirk Minahan show, WEI, whatever I do, I'm going to consume way over, way over the line how much I should be, and just, I get very into anything that I do.
Do you, with that part of your personality, that like, addiction prone, do you, well, actually, yeah, I was going to ask you, is KMS an addiction? Because I know the obvious, like, yeah, we all joke about like, oh, it's an addiction, but I would have told you, I would have been like, I'm handling this hiatus fine. I might have even said, oh, there's some benefits to it. Like, it's, it is a lot of time to listen to the show. And so there was some productivity increase, but I would have said I was doing fine. And then it was like, by the end, I was so like cranky and bitchy and just fucking like angry. And I was like, holy shit, is it because fucking KMS is gone? Almost
Withdrawals.
Like putting coffee or something. Yeah. And I was like, it's one thing to be, I was like, but does that, where do things, where's the line, Brando? And I'm legitimately asking this. I don't know. Where's the line between like being really, really into something and being addicted to it? How do you make that distinction? Because do you have to look out for, is all addiction bad when you're in recovery? Or is it, or would they say, no, it's okay to be addicted to the gym or a podcast? Or is addiction always bad? Like getting addicted. Does that make sense? Does that question make sense, Brando?
It's very convoluted, but I would say that I don't know who they is. Are you talking about like therapists in general or different things like that, or these groups? Like, I don't know, like some people can't really choose like to be addicts or not. So I don't think I can choose like, oh, is the gym a good thing to be addicted to? Yeah, of course I think it is. It's a positive thing. Is the Kirk Minahan show addictive? Well, you see how people act when it's not around. They start acting like they're having withdrawals. They start losing their minds. But I don't know if it's like, it'd be hard to say if it's technically addictive. But yes, people are very invested in it. And that's why Kirk, keeps the audience that he does, because people just can't get enough of him.
What's it going to be like when the show's done? It's going to be...
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
And I've kind of guarded myself, like, so, Kirk has said throughout the show's history, and especially after he took his first mental health break, he has often said, like, guys, it could be gone tomorrow. You know, like, so I've just kind of like guarded myself against that, almost like like when you think about like a parent's death or something, like Justin did with Bubba with the eulogy. It's like, all right, I better steel myself for that very stark reality that eventually is going to be here. So even on the hiatus, I try to be like, well, like, what if the show might not come back? And if it does come back, it might disappear the next day. And it's I don't know. It's going to be tough. There's not much else. Would you fill the hiatus gap with? Did you get content from elsewhere? You're a Barstool guy, right?
No, not really. I listen to stuff that Kirk's in, and then maybe I'll catch like a rundown here or there. I've gotten very into the dozen, so I've watched every single dozen match this season, no matter who it is, which I haven't done before. I've pretty much only watched Kirk before this on the dozen, but now I've watched every single dozen episode. That was a good fill-in. That's a great product, and Jeff does a great job with that. It's also very funny to me that this thing that was just kind of something to fill space and something to do over the break, this whole trivia thing, grew into such a big thing where they're doing live shows. You know, it's a big part of Barstool. They have these big, these finals, and everyone gets very into it. And it just started from something that was kind of just a placeholder and just a small bit of content, and now it's massive.
It saved Jeff Delo's career at Barstool, right?
Yeah, it definitely helps. And then I know people don't believe me, but I did watch a little bit of the Clemmer 1991 Magic stream. I've been jumping in and out of that. That's always kind of fun. But Kirk is spot on. I was thinking it, before even anyone on the show talked about it, that it's not fun anymore. And I think Mike said that too. Like, it's not fun when Clemmer has like 6 All-Stars, 7 All-Stars, 6, 7, 8 Hall of Famers. What's the fun of him going 75-7 and winning a championship and winning over and over again? There's no drama. The best was when he was like his second or third season, when he would win 40-something games. He would go to the playoffs, and you don't know what's going to happen. He's like a 7 seed or a 6 seed, and anything can happen. And then there's a little bit of drama, like, oh, will he do it, will he not? But once he started building a super team, it takes away all the mystery of it. So I think it's definitely the right idea for him to try to start new with another team, because it's becoming stale.
I don't consume Clemmer content, but that sounds like the pattern of, hasn't Clemmer fucked up every good idea he's ever had? And I say that as a compliment. Like, he has good ideas. Like, At a Theater Near Me is a good idea. And then Clemmer, everyone was like, why are you doing it the way you're doing it? And what else did he do? The fucking sleeping thing in the room, when he was like, no, I don't want Mincy in there. He's always got a good idea, and then he just he insists on executing it his way, and his way always seems like, no, you don't even understand the nature of the good idea that you have. But he's fucking, obviously it's working out for him.
It is, but sometimes he seems like he will push back on certain stuff, and he doesn't really get it. And I don't know if he's sometimes maybe not self-deprecating enough and doesn't want to just be the absolute dummy, and maybe thinks of himself in a little higher regard than someone who's just like a punching bag.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you just have to be the punching bag and be like, yep, I'm a dummy. Like, I learned that after the Magic stream debacle with me and Blind Mike. Is at first I was feeling very, very sensitive about people saying you weren't prepared, you weren't this, and you disrespected Mike, and Mike should never talk to you again. All this other stuff, and then so I was very sensitive to it at first. I was hard on myself. And then after a while, I'm like, you know what? It's better if I just play into it, and I don't have to prove myself to people. I don't have to battle with people on Twitter and say, I was prepared, but this, and this happened. So
it doesn't do any good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brando, I've never embarrassed myself on the Kirk Minahan channel.
Definitely
or the
not.
Kirk Minahan show, for that matter, so I can't really relate, but
certainly.
Yeah. No, I feel like such a prick today. That's why I didn't want to do it, because I just felt like, oh God, I have fucked this up so badly already. Like, get me out of here. Like, it's the stuff of nightmares. But in a way, it's good. It's good experience. Like, if you want to do any type of, not to say, like, if you want to do any type of content, you have to like look like you have to be a fucking idiot in front of an audience if you're gonna do it. And
especially
some of
in
us
this,
excel at that.
yeah.
At the being a fucking idiot part. I mean, Brandon.
Right. Did you bring the ball? Did you bring the ball today with the questions?
No, next time. We'll try it again, man, and we'll be more clear with each other about if it's going to be the Brando show. I will conform to your procedures and your criteria. And then if we do a Nicholsworth, then we'll get out the thumb balls. Yeah, you told me you've used stuff like that, right? In group sessions?
Yeah, in relapse prevention, like something similar where we've used a ball where you have to answer something like, oh, what means the most to you?
Yeah.
Like, what did you lose because of addiction? Like, this, that, and the other thing. It's just, there's a lot of that type of stuff in the relapse prevention world, in the addiction world of, it's kind of team building in a way, because you're with other addicts and you're trying to relate to each other. Because it's easier when you have other people that have gone through the same struggles that you have than to feel like you're alone and you have nobody. So there are some similarities to what you do to some of the relapse prevention world.
Do you find things like those thumb balls? Like, I know they're cheesy. They're inherently cheesy and corny, as anything of an icebreaker nature is, but they are effective. Like, they do get people kind of laughing and they answer the questions. Has that been your experience when you've seen stuff like that? Like, if someone were to describe to you, like, we're about to do this, your skin crawls a little and you're like, oh God, this is going to be so fucking lame. But then they do it and it's like, oh, everyone's kind of laughing at it. And it does serve its purpose. It achieves its objective. Has that been your experience with it?
Yeah, I think especially in AA and things like that, people are very timid, especially at the beginning, to share and to be vulnerable. So a thing like that, or a game or an icebreaker, can be a good tool to get people to engage and to share with the group. And you always feel better after you share with people and you get their support. It's very helpful.
Well, let me ask you this as a professional inquiry.
Sure.
Have you worked with anyone or helped anyone who, like, when someone is really closed off to sharing, how do you work with them, get through to them, help them see the value? And like you just said, it helps you. Have you helped anyone who kind of is super, super resistant to it?
It's tough because you don't want to push people too much if they're not comfortable with it. And everyone uses relapse prevention and other stuff like that for a different purpose. Some people, like I've seen in AA, just never say anything the whole time. They go there, they take everything in, but they never share, and that's what they're comfortable with. Some people share every time, and sometimes there's people in the middle. It's all what you can take out of it and whatever way you want to go about it. I've talked to different people, though, outside of relapse prevention and said, hey, if you ever need someone to talk to call or text, just let me know, because I'm always willing to talk to people, outside of the group, if they want to do it. But if not, that's cool, too.
And you got to really mean that shit, huh? Because they might hit you up at 4 a.m. and you got to be at work soon or whatever, but you said it. And they obviously need you. Like, you can't be half in on that, huh?
No, not really. If you do, you could be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, and probably hurt someone who's turning to you. There actually is, Brando. Early on, when I got into what I do, I did start thinking about the connection, and I've continued thinking about it and kind of studying both fields of. I realized, like, leadership development, employee development, it's behavior modification. You're trying to get someone to adopt a behavior and make it last, which is very similar to recovery. Learning new behaviors and making them and I remember thinking early on, like, wow, like, anyone who's in recovery and doing it has got so much to fucking share about how to make behavior last and believe in changes and stuff like that. So yeah, I think there is a lot of overlap. I don't think they're as distinct as the average person might think they are.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that from what you do and from what I've seen in the other groups. Um, any other ideas about the show, and what have you been thinking of it since the break?
Since the break, well, we were debating in our private group chat. What do you think of the third chair era? Because it seems like, again, my perspective is that Twitter and Reddit can be a little bit on the negative side. So take this with a grain of salt. But I'm getting a sense of not boredom, but I think people are ready to turn on all the third chairs. I know I am, and I don't feel good about it. Like Pat Ford has done nothing to me in my life, and I hate him so much. So, but I do feel like, I don't know, like when they say, like we said before with Steve, Your Live Tape, it's almost like Trenny said about Mutt back in the day. Like it's like slipping into a warm bath. I feel like
with
there's
a toaster.
Too many, yeah. I feel like there's too many warm baths in the rotation. And I know you can't have a Stein every episode or Mick going I understand that, but I don't know, when they say certain people are coming up soon, I just kind of go, okay. Like, and then I listen, it's like, all right, they were fine, as they always are. And sometimes magic happens around them and they don't get in the way, but none of them drive it. Like none of them really make big contributions to the show on their own. Like I love Cinema, but Cinema's like he's along for the ride. And I think he would say that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. I feel like maybe it's just, maybe the mix of third chairs. Like there's some spice missing.
Yeah, I think at the beginning it was definitely a good idea, and it was very interesting to see all these random fans that would come in and you wouldn't know. Sometimes maybe it's the mystery of it, like, oh, today this person's going to be in, and you have no idea who they are. And it ends up being a big hit, like Biodude was an example of. I think you were in with him, right? Were you in with Biodude that day?
No.
That wasn't you? Oh, it was Steve from Gloucester and somebody else, maybe? I thought you were, maybe not. But like a Biodude, where I had this idea of Biodude, like he was just this weird guy. Like Kirk said, like he looks like he smells bad,
that infamous photo of him emerging from his swamp.
Yeah.
Of course. It's like he looks like a literal mutant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the same impression.
And then he comes in, he's like the most likable guy of all time, and he's funny, and he's witty, and he's just a great dude overall. So I love having that, where you have a perceived notion of someone, and they come in, and then they change that notion, or they really bring something. And Kirk can always pull the best out of anyone. So maybe some of the stuff has felt a little stale lately, but you never know. What is your suggestion? Do you think he should be going away from like rotating third chairs? Should he be sticking to just like Mutt and Mike and like an occasional other guy? Do you think it should be no third chairs? Just him and the producers? What's your opinion on all that? If you had to say.
I don't know, Brando, because here's the thing I've learned is I don't know. Like I could give you my ideas, but it's gonna come from Kirk. It has to come from Kirk. So I think he'll figure it out. But if you had said however many years ago, like, hey, the future of the show is it's going to be pretty much a rando fan or like a established fan on every episode from now on, I would have been like, you're fucking nuts. Like, no way. But that's the direction Kirk went in, and it worked. So I just don't know. I'm out of the like predicting what Kirk's gonna do game. But I trust him to like whatever ends up happening is gonna happen. And that's another thing with the show is like it's a fucking living thing. There's phases to it. It's cyclical. So when people are like the show sucks now, it's like it doesn't suck now. It's just like it's a wild show. The way Kirk does it, there's no guardrails really. Like and he keeps it going. He keeps it growing. It's always changing. So it's going to ebb and flow. There's going to be ups and downs. And I don't think the show has ever sucked. And even if I were to say like, yeah, maybe the third chair era is at its end, it's not even saying that they suck or the episodes with them suck. It's just at some point, the parody song era ended. At some point, the prank phone call era ended. At some point, the Clemmer, it's like you're in for the ride. Take the fucking big picture view of it. and know that if you don't like what's happening now, it's not going to last forever. Like, if you didn't like Coleman, you could rest assured Coleman's probably not going to make a 6-year run with KMS. Like, hang in there, try to enjoy the hate while you can.
Right, and I wouldn't, if you're just paying attention to Twitter and Reddit and some of these other spaces, you're going to see a lot of negativity. You're going to see guys like Sneakers say, oh, the show stinks, and he gives you the formula, oh, today they're going to talk about Mutt, then they're going to talk about this, this, and this. But even somebody like him, he's in the YouTube live chat every single time. He's constantly tweeting about the show. So I would take all that, like anything that him or the trolls say about it sucks, it's not the same as it used to be, I would take that with a grain of salt, because I don't know if they even believe what they're saying, or if they're just saying it just to get a reaction.
Sneaks, see, I was going to say with Sneaks, it's all an act, but he did choke out Visionless Dave that one time. So So one, that makes me wonder if it perhaps is not an act. Two, I'm scared of Sneaks because he will choke you. So I don't want to talk about Sneaks sometimes, but I do mostly think Sneaks is, I don't have Sneaks figured out, but I don't think he's a bad guy, despite.
I don't think he is either. I think
know,
he can.
But the physical violence thing, that is an asterisk on the good guy label, right? Doesn't it have to be?
But what is the backstory on that?
He's explained it. Sneaks, please forgive me, my friend, my Minifriend, if I get this wrong. But I think it's that VD made some jokes. I won't even say what line they crossed, but they crossed a line that many people could relate to, put it that way. And I believe Sneaks may have told him, like, here's what I'm going to do if I ever see you. And then he did it.
Well, Sneaks is a man of his word, if nothing else. I mean, he's a leader of men, as some people say.
Do you know the story? Do you know that I believe the legend is that Jay, God, good for Jay if this is true, Jay came to VD's defense and I believe latched onto Sneak's penis until Sneak relinquished and let VD go. I believe that's the story. And then I believe Sneaks was driving away and Jay took a Gatorade.
Human feces?
And no, he took a Gatorade uncapped and threw it, and it went into Sneaks' car window and hit Sneaks.
Okay.
I think all that's my understanding of it. I probably have embellished some of it because it's a pretty funny image to think of Sneaks driving away and Jay just yeeting a fucking Gatorade bottle at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the story. Oh, hey, your Mincel Intel show. Are you doing that with John no, not with John, with Fax?
No, I didn't plan on doing that. That's
not a bad idea, man. And I was just gonna say, Brando, if you or anyone else does a show like that, a segment that I think would be good, and I would love to contribute to, is like KMS story time, where you get a new fan who says, "Hey, I've heard whispers of Sneaks choking out Visionless Dave, and I've heard Visionless Dave is like 4'8". Tell us, Elder Minifan, tell us the tale. That would be good.
Yeah, I think I think in theory it could be a good show, especially because I love the nostalgia of going back into the archives and reviewing old shows. But not with that current group. MM.
Oh, you don't want to work with Fax?
No, MM. Fax is okay. I'm always been a Fax guy, but MM is absolutely insufferable.
Let's talk about them.
She doesn't know anything about the Kirk Minahan show. I don't consider her a real fan. She's a barstool dick rider. And why would she be on a show that talks about old episodes of KMS when she hasn't even been listening for long enough to know about the old episodes? So
can I just say, Brando, I'm going off Menner's Live. I don't remember him saying MM would be part of it. I thought he said it would be you and Fax as in the old BA and John roles.
And then MM would be the third person.
Oh. Okay, so tell me, who is MM?
Oh my god.
Who is Jake? Where did they come from? What is the deal with Spaces, man? Like, I'll go into Spaces. There'll be 30 funny ass minifans in there, all muted, and then it's MM talking. And like yesterday, I think I jumped in real quick, and I swear she was saying that she's like talking about some skull she has in her office, or it's not what I expected. And I'm like, why is everyone in here? I could understand if it's 30 minifans talking KMS, but they never are. So what the fuck is the deal with that?
MM is this person that came out of the woodwork. She's a Barstool fan that started out by liking Call Her Daddy. And Call Her Daddy brought her to Barstool, and Barstool brought her to Kirk. So she has been just in every space on a lot of YouTube shows. She's done stuff with Jake. She may or may not have had phone sex with Jake. We don't know. That might be a rumor. That might be true. I think it's probably true. But she
Brando,
goes
you're
into
breaking your own
spaces.
rule.
What's that?
I'm sure she doesn't like you talking about that. What if she texted
What are
you
you
and
talking
said,
about?
if she said, Brando, that's a boundary. Don't joke about Jake having phone sex with me.
Who?
MM.
MM?
Yeah, I'm sure she doesn't like that.
Oh, well, it doesn't really matter at this point. I don't really care what MM thinks because I think she's just kind of dreadful overall.
Okay.
But she'll be in a space and then she'll, between her and Jake, she'll mute everybody else and then she'll just be talking. And if she doesn't like something you say, she'll just mute you or boot you. But, I think Jake, I can't quit Jake. Jake is he's like a drug. You just can't quite quit him. When you think he's pushed himself fully away from you, then you say, "Oh, I kind of miss Jake." He gets people talking. He may be an insane person, which I think he would admit, but he's an interesting guy.
Okay. What does he get people talking about?
Oh, he can talk about just about anything. I mean, the guy he's
he
definitely out there.
Okay. So he's not so crazy that there's no redeeming value.
I think he has redeeming value, but
Like
every so often,
entertainment value. I mean, not as a human, but entertainment value. Because
I
when I
think
log in, I'm always like, why? I can't listen to this.
I think there's human value and entertainment value, but he sometimes he hits rock bottom and then he kind of goes off the rails, but he always comes back strong. So
Okay, good.
he's an interesting guy. If nothing else, he's interesting, and he gets the people talking, as they say. So
Is he still going on the? Weren't the producers saying they were going to bring him in?
at one point over the break on the producer show, they were going to have him in, and then he was going to produce MNS at one point, but I don't think any of that has gone fully through. But Jake would be absolutely electric on KMS. I don't know what would happen. Everyone might be murdered, or there might be a fist fight between him and somebody, or it could be awesome, or it could be terrible. I could not tell you what the hell would happen. Anything could happen if Jake was on KMS, but I think it'd be kind of like a Stein one where it's just going to be very uncomfortable no matter what.
Would you? Well, I guess you would sign up for that because you're a Jake fan.
Yeah, I'm a Jake fan. Do I get mad at him sometimes because he goes off the rails and says some crazy shit or does some stuff or, say some problematic things? Yes, but I can't quit the guy, so.
So you think that would equate to being good in studio?
Yeah. He's a character, so something's going to happen. Kirk will pull something out of him. He's a crazy person.
Okay. All right. I'm in. If you're in, I'm in. Let's get
All
Jake.
right.
Let's get Jake to Watertown.
Jake to Watertown, the newest thing. So where does that leave us? I don't know where we start on that. I guess you're asking about MM with the Mincel Intel thing.
Are you surprised you haven't been invited in studio yet? I know the answer to this. Don't forget that.
Not surprised because I have been booked for the studio, as you know, and a handful of others know.
I knew that.
I thought I told you that I booked for May and June.
You very well might have, and I just forget. Oh,
yeah.
Good. Okay, that makes me feel better because I was also kind of like, guys, what the fuck? Brando was good. Brando, let me ask you this: people forget, but I don't think you do. Who asked to bring you in studio months before the Minifan world fell in love with you?
The very first time I was ever mentioned, it was Mayo, and I said, "Hey, can you please just mention to Kirk that I would like to come in?" And on that day, the YouTube feed cut out. You were literally about to say, you were saying that you had changed topics, and you were about to say, "Oh, I have this friend named Brandon. He wants to come in studio," and the YouTube feed cut out just before that. So I was like, "Oh my God, he's not actually gonna get it out, and no one's gonna hear it." But on the podcast feed, you can hear it. You say, "Oh, my buddy Brandon wants to come in studio," and it gets totally glossed over because one, it's you, so Kirk ignores half the shit that you say, and two, they were having the issues with the YouTube feed, so it was kind of like the producers were scrambling, and then Kirk's like, "Oh, what's the matter?" They're like, "The YouTube's down," and yeah, that's how it kind of all started, I guess.
You would have gotten in there anyway. You would have gotten in there anyway. Did I say my buddy or my friend?
It was something like that. I think friend, yeah, which is an honor, you know.
I'll have to go back. I consider you a friend now, Brando.
Well, I considered you a friend until the beginning of this show, but you know, it was a great run until that.
Yeah, tell me about that. How bad was it at the beginning of the show? Did it really seem like I was trying to just like be a complete asshole to you?
I don't think you were trying to be a complete asshole. I think you were just kind of like, well, this isn't working, and you were naming that and you were calling it out. And I was just trying to maybe get the show going, but I was like, wow, this is gonna be a 15-minute show. It's gonna be a complete disaster, but yeah.
And I was trying to call you out for like low energy, but it's like Kirk has often said this, and I should fucking listen to him. He always says like, don't do the thing where you're doing a show and the whole time you're like, how bad is this? I shouldn't, you know what I mean? And I fell into that trap. What I was hoping was like, if I went and like called you out on low energy, I could get you amped up like me. But it didn't. But that's just not like, that's not even my. I shouldn't have done that.
To me, that does the opposite. Once you start calling someone out for low energy, then it's like, oh, we have this kind of relationship. He's kind of dumping on me. Like, usually it takes a little while to get the ball rolling. So I was just trying to maybe ease along, and I think eventually we got there, and we actually talked about some stuff. I don't know what the hell you would call this show, but we ended up talking about some pertinent things. One last question. I see the chat here.
Wait. You don't decide last question, though, Brandon.
All right. Sorry.
You're my special guest.
All right.
What's your question, though? It's just not.
I was going to ask this thing about arm waivers thing, because people like Don the Jeweler and others are obsessed with this arm waiver thing, and a lot of the trolls are saying, you know, arm waiver this, arm waiver that. I'm not sure how saying that I'm booked for the show or things like that is an arm waving thing, but I mean, I agree to disagree a lot of the time with Don. You know, I've been a Don the Jeweler guy. I think he can be good, but I think he's been doing a little bit of a bit for the last, you know, couple weeks to a month where he's kind of just starting to hate everything. So I don't know. I sometimes I don't get that stuff like arm waiver. Like if you want to be involved with the show or
you are an arm waiver then.
I think
just own it. Just own it.
I think I've been an arm waiver at the very beginning when I first started going on stuff where I was incessantly messaging people. I was DMing Justin, I was DMing Cully like every chance I could get. And I think I've brought it back a little bit and I've tried to calm down, but I think I've been an arm waiver in the past, but I don't feel like I'm an arm waiver now, but I guess we can agree to disagree.
See, I mean, to me, it's like we're doing this show. We don't think it's going to we're going to be famous tomorrow. It's going to change our lives, but you are putting it out there, seeking attention. So when people call me an arm waiver or anyone else, to me, it's like, I'll just accept it. It's like, okay, then I am. To me, my personal definition of it is more of like someone trying to use the show who doesn't really appreciate the show. But I actually don't have an issue with people who appreciate the show getting a bump from it. And I don't think Kirk would either, but it's when there's no real affection for the show behind it. That's when I might say arm waving. But otherwise, like Brando, put it this way, like just honestly, when you tweet out you shooting basketball hoops, like part of the hope is that it keeps you in their mind, right? So that you get invited to tryouts. Isn't that what's wrong with that? That's fair. Like, but I think people would call that arm waving, and it's like, all right, then I guess it is. I don't know. That term is bullshit. So I say just wear it. Just wear it proudly then.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be funny to put up a video of me shooting hoops and like, you know, be semi bad with it, and it's kind of funny and self-deprecating, and because
you
I
also
was
wanna be part of the
excited.
tryouts, right?
Yes, of course. I was
Yeah.
excited. I was excited about the tryouts. I'm like, yes, I finally get a shot to play against legends like Kevin from Bristol, Steve from Gloucester, even Cliff. You know, it would be an honor to be allowed to play against all those guys. And to judging from today's show, it sounds like pretty much anybody can go. So once I get that date, I will definitely be there, and I'll be giving it my all. So if
You know who
being
you're
competitive and giving it my all is an arm waver, then you know what? Call me an arm waver.
Fuck
I'll
'em,
go.
right?
I'll go to Arm Waivers Anonymous.
good.
Maybe Don is right. Sorry, Don. Maybe you're right.
Can I say this about Don? One time Don crossed the line with me, and I DM'd him and I said, like, this crosses the line, and he made good right away. So I get caught. I get caught up, guys. Like this is like this was like suicide by the chat tonight for me. Like I can't be like I made a joke about, oh, you guys are gonna get in my head. That chat rattled me. Like I can't tell you like. I was telling Menners this the other day with the podcast in a podcast meeting. I was like, I feel like anytime I go to do anything creative, I just automatically can hear what like Don the Jeweler would say to make fun
Critics,
of it.
yeah, critics in your head.
And they just are so much in my head. But in a way, again, like maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's going to help me learn either to ignore them. Because I think tonight, Brando, we got back on track when I shut the chat off, stopped trying to like do something and just talk to my buddy Brando. I think it got better. But it goes to show like you just can't, or at least I can't. I cannot handle the negativity. Like it gets to me. Believe me, I can be made fun of, but certain things people say, like it fucking gets to me. And they're just having fun. Like Red from Maine reminds me of this all the time, that the anonymous accounts, this is their way of having fun in the Miniverse. And most of them, I'd say 99% of them are not really trying to like hurt you as a person. They're just making fun of you online. But for me, I'll get so caught up where I'm like, no, Don the Jeweler must be a bad person in real life. Like it's ridiculous. I get way too caught up in it. I have very, very thin skin.
Yes, but you are a certified nut when it comes to all this stuff, because even you're like saying about how you can't have fun at Laconia because you're worried that, say you have too many drinks at Laconia, people are going to take pictures of you or make it a bit that you did this or that. So
okay, but Brando,
I think you're just an anxious person overall.
Oh, totally. But are you saying that that's an unfounded
yes,
worry on my part?
Yes, almost all the time. You're always
Did
worried
you hear
about
them the
people
other day
ruining
say-
everything.
The other day they were like, oh, what's the story with Freddie Lynn? Like after Laconia, how many Freddie Lynn stories were floating around? That's what I mean. Is like when people know who you are there, they're watching you and they want to be able to say, oh, Mayo was an asshole. I saw Mayo in the bathroom and he like didn't wash his hands. I always wash my hands, by the way. It's a bad example, but that's what I mean. Like, it's not saying I'm special. I'm just saying anyone who goes on the show who might be recognized at a live show, part of what you have to contend with is people are going to start talking about you. And yeah,
right.
Maybe it is just me who can't handle it, but that bothers me. Like sometimes it's like, I don't like that. I don't like
so
that.
So you'd rather just have no stories come out? Because I don't think Freddie took like too much shit. Maybe they gave him a hard time about his brother and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I think Freddie like had a good time himself, and he was a very kind guy. He did touch me inappropriately a few times, but that's neither here nor there. You know, his hugs were a little bit too sexual in nature from Freddie.
Did he linger, or was it hand placement, or both?
Both.
Ooh,
but he's a very handsome guy, and I do enjoy Freddie. It was good to meet him. So, but if the worst thing that happens is they have a couple stories about you, I don't see like that it's that bad. But I'm much less of an anxious person. I'm much less of an anxious person.
No, I have terrible anxiety. And it's not even, again, it's not saying like I'm special. It's just saying, like, put it this way. I don't know if you remember after Plymouth when they had me get up on stage and get booed. And like after that, it's like my mind's going a million miles an hour. Like I'm kind of, and then some guy called in and was like, Mayo blew me off. I really don't remember that. I'm sure maybe I did. Like I genuinely I felt bad about that. Like I felt bad that guy thought I was an asshole. You know what I mean? So then when I go to the live shows, I'm like, maybe it would have been better if I just had never like, if I just, I it's like, yeah, in these scenarios, I wish I was just another fan because I wouldn't be worrying about this. Because it's not even like, yeah, I sound fucking mad right now, don't I, Brando?
Yeah, in some ways, but
yep.
It's okay. That's who you are. So you're Mayo. You'll always be Mayo.
Appreciate
You
it.
got to take the good with the bad, you know?
That's true. You got a little bit of, I think you got a little, did you get a little bit of good tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
Once we got going, I think it turned into like a Brando interview. It kind of felt like by the end, but I think it ended up being a decent little show. I don't know what you would call it or
and Brando, do you know, like, me being an asshole to you at the beginning is also partly because I know you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I don't think if they put me on here with, like, any stranger Minifan, I don't think I would have tried to push him. Like, I don't think so.
I see Nard asked what I would grade this episode.
I think
at the beginning we were looking at, like, some of the lowest grades I've ever given when I thought it was going to be a 15-minute show.
The beginning might have, yeah.
It might have still been good content if you were just an asshole to me and we ended it after 15 minutes because I would have just said, look at how big of a dick Mayo is. But once we got rolling, I'm going to give us a B. I'm going to give us like an 84. B minus. 82.
Really?
I'm going to go 82.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think we got into some good stuff.
And
we talked about some different shit.
And I think we'd do great in the future. A little more and a little less, you know, me being a prick to you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We don't want to be fake, though. At the end of the day, between you and I think we're authentic. Both of us are authentically ourselves.
I guess so. Yeah, I was gonna say yes. Earlier was authentic, even though it didn't shine a positive light on me. But it was, yeah, it was. I would like to be a little more authentic with this stuff. Like I don't want to. Like I said something to what's his name, Minifan Dan earlier. And again, this is probably me being crazy, but like I said something to him, and then when I looked at it later, I was like, that was fucking mean, Andy. Like that was just mean. Like he made fun of your show, you went like mean on him. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about that. I just don't.
I didn't even understand what you said about a stroke. Something about a stroke. He looked like
I was trying to. I won't elaborate. I won't because then I'm gonna just say the mean thing that I feel bad about. Sorry, Minifan Dan. Sorry, every Minifan I've ever been a prick to. Okay, put it that way.
Well, when people are trolls, then I guess if they get trolled back, then that's just part of the territory. So,
but see, I don't. Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know. I just sometimes I'm like, I'm not built for the mud, Brando.
Right.
You know, just not built for it. Minifans, Kane has won. We'll give Kane this one. Kane killed Mayo.
So, all right. Any last thoughts or anything for the people? Because we're going well over 70 minutes here. So
I don't care.
Mayo does not care.
Are we going into cinema show?
I'm not sure. Is that what's on after? Kane also said he might do a show tonight, so I don't know when that would be. But
you want to know a couple of the activities that I would have had Mick and Justin do?
Just quickly.
It is your show, Brando. You took over, man. Good for you. All right, I would have had them do. One would have been called the Two Towers. I would have teamed Dave and it could be Dave and Justin or Mick and Justin because Mick quit. But it would have been Mick and Justin team up against a pair of local kindergarten students. All right. I have access to kindergartners. And
that's scary.
We would do, well, it's my kid. They would do a challenge where you have to build the tallest marshmallow tower out of dry spaghetti, scotch tape, and a marshmallow. And they would compete against the kindergartners. And then another one would be the blind mic challenge. We would blindfold Justin, and he has to assemble a Star Wars Lego set using only verbal instructions from Mick, who will not be blindfolded and will have the instructions in front of him.
Right.
That's just a taste of it. Now, Brando, you're a KMS fan. Would that have been funny?
It's hard to say. I think it has potential.
Me too. I think there's something inherently funny about bringing like the KMS world into those types of activities. I think it would have been a lot of fun, but I think it would have required Mick to be able to have fun with it. And obviously like Mick quit immediately. So I don't think Mick ever would have been able to like really have fun with it, which is why I tried to pitch, hey, we could do it with Dave and Justin. Like, I just think it would be funny if Kirk had like a team building consultant who came in, and even I've got all these assessments we could have the producers do, and then we could give the results to Kirk and kind of let him use them against that. There's all sorts of things we could do. So I was disappointed when that didn't happen, but I don't know. Hope maybe someday, because I do think the potential's there. If they did it with me or with anybody who does this kind of stuff, like, I think it's almost like that general concept of doing sensitivity training with KMS. Like, that's a funny concept. It's kind of under that umbrella.
So just be honest with me. Is the only reason you did this show was to give us the bits about Mick and Justin that you've been holding in?
No, I wanted to do it with on the Unrelated show. We were gonna do that. Everyone,
so I got
like,
your scraps.
Well, everyone said, yeah, that would be funny, and then we didn't get to it because that show, I guess that show also factored into my thinking tonight of like, that show made me feel like, oh yeah, see, we can go into it pretty loosey-goosey and really cook and have fun. But you and I just don't, it was a different dynamic tonight. And it was, in retrospect, shouldn't have tried to go loosey-goosey, fast and loose with it.
Well, you live and you learn. So.
That's right, Brando. That's right.
All right. Well, folks, I think that's about it for the Nichols Worth of the Brando show, if you want to call it that. I don't know what the fuck to call it at this point. It was
Nichols Worth a debacle.
It was an abortion to start, and it ended in a similar fashion, I guess. Yeah. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the other side.